Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Peter. I know you have a deadline, so we'll see how long we get to have Peter. So tonight, thank you for coming. I think we're interested in talking about housing and continuing to sort of get through everyone's level of understanding, what questions people have, what concerns people have. And so the idea of this meeting is to be the first of many opportunities for people to come together and ask questions. And we thought it would be, actually for the first time, we're going to try and do a little bit of a in-person breakout session and have people actually have a chance to talk on a couple of subjects. So we have 3 subjects, and we can, I'll briefly talk about those now, I guess, and then we'll get to the fun stuff. So there's a group that's really interested in talking about how we can be really good advocates. So we call that campaigns outreach, and it's really how to strategize sharing this message, getting this message out. We all know how hard that is with everybody so busy and people saying, I never heard of this before, and yet it's been out there in the public realm for years. So I think and then the next step is how do we really get effective with getting the message out and having people understand this and building towards this challenge we have, which is what are we going to do about our need for housing. So you probably know that our interests are in needing more housing choice. And so we have our finger on the scale as much as we can say that. I think that's fair. The other 2 groups are more in discussions about MBTA plans, the 2 plans, issues with those, things we like, don't like. And then this was hopefully going to be an opportunity to just start understanding what development needs. And so Jeff Engler, Caitlin Madden are here to have a couple of perspectives on private and profit and nonprofit development, what's sort of the triggers for those things, how they align and how they are different, but also then how they actually would be their perspectives on what we're doing in Needham and how development in Needham can actually take off. What do we need to do? What are the guardrails that we need to set up in our zoning that make it actually become something that's going to create housing? Because we know we've had lots of zoning issues. Gene has told us about the things that we've done in our overlay districts and have not produced a lot of housing. So I think that's going to be an interesting conversation. We have 30 minutes, so we're not going to get to a whole lot. But what we'd like to do is have people pick one of those 3, join in, and then we'll report back after those are done. So everybody will hear about what all the conversations were. So we'll decide on that next. But first, Whitney, hi.
Hi. Thanks, Oscar. Thank you for laying the groundwork for what our discussions and our breakout will be about today. I'm Whitney Demetrius, for those who are like, who is that up there? And I work at Citizens Housing and Planning Association, CHAPA, which is an organization statewide that works on not only this idea about housing choice and housing need and building more affordable housing, ensuring that people have a safe, affordable place to call home, which I imagine many of us agree upon as we come into this space tonight. And so one of the things we do is we go out into communities and help them to build coalition, to build these conversations, to bring the stakeholders into the room, and to do the work that you all are doing on today. So I'm excited to be part of today's agenda, where I think the meat of what you all will talk about in the discussions in terms of getting into the grain will be really important. We'll have note takers who will be taking down a lot of what you all are discussing and bringing it to some action and hopefully allowing it to be informative. But at this moment, what we're hoping to do is imagine together. Before we get into the weeds on some of these various discussions, we wanted to imagine together. And so we had, as you'll see in the agenda, a few questions that we want to prompt you. So please feel free to just raise your hand or call things out as we prompt these questions. So there is no wrong answers. We want to make sure that we respect folks tonight, so sort of laying those sort of ground rules as well. But the first question is, what are some words you would use to describe Needham? The Needham you want to see. What are some of the words that you would use to describe Needham? in terms of the Needham that you want to see? What are some words that come to mind? Just call them out. Not all at once, please. Everyone. Oh, my gosh.
How about one?
You guys are lively here. No, please, Kathy, start us off. Vibrant. Awesome. Others, I'm just going to be writing things up, so just feel free to give me some. Awesome.
Diverse.
Love that. Diverse.
Affordable.
Oh, affordable. Love it.
Progressive.
I'm sorry?
Progressive.
Progressive. Awesome.
Walkable.
Oh, how lovely. Walkable.
Likeable.
Bikeable.
Very green.
Green.
Friendly.
Friendly. Love it. I get that vibe when I come here. Friendly. Yes. Others.
Welcoming.
Welcoming. Wonderful. The Needham we want to see is welcoming, is safe. Did I hear? Oh, I love that. Safe. Is
Safe for everyone.
safe for everyone. I want to add that. Maybe it's not just one word. Maybe it's a saying. I like a saying too. Give it to me. The Needham we want to see is safe for everyone. I didn't hear you. Lively. All right. It's lively, it's welcoming, it's safe for everyone, it's diverse and,
Engaged.
all right.
We have diversity.
Or engaging.
Diverse and engaging. So we have vibrant, diverse, affordable, progressive, walkable, bikeable, green, friendly, welcoming, safe for everyone.
Lots of
lively,
sizes.
Lots of sizes.
Secular.
Oh, we're getting into it now. Okay. Secular. Let's see. The Needham we want to see is
Respectful.
respectful. I like it. Someone has something right over here they want to say. The Needham we want to see is
Open-minded.
open-minded. It was over here. I thought it was over there, but it was here. Open-minded. Okay. I like it.
Evolving.
Evolving. That's good. Evolving.
Sustain.
United. And I heard something else over here.
Yeah, sustainable.
Ooh. Ooh. We're going to be doing something with all these words that we're getting from you all, so this is helpful.
Quiet, as in safer, quieter, neater, no more.
Oh, okay.
Trainless.
Okay, y'all help me remind. Okay.
And hornless.
Quieter,
No more horns.
as in safer,
Quiet, yeah. Needham.
quieter, new. Okay. Quieter, Needham. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay. Beautiful.
It's a campaign slogan.
I could tell by the way you said it. I don't got to be from here to know the way you said it, and I heard some responses. Folks have heard that before, so that's great. Was there anything else? I told you I may sing.
Okay.
Is that good? Do we feel like we captured? Yes? Leader? Leader. Okay, leadership.
Oh, as in,
The town.
okay.
Okay, awesome. And we can keep building on this list. We'll go to the next question. All right, so now that we got your juices flowing, the next question: what community services, businesses, activities do you want to see to maintain or enhance things in Needham? Services, businesses, activities to either maintain and or enhance.
I want youth to be able to do anything after 9 p.m.
Okay. Youth activities after 9 p.m. Remember, he said lively. Didn't he say lively? That's good.
I wish that bus 59 was after 7.
Okay. Bus 59. Let's talk about it.
Later transit.
Okay. Later transit.
Transit hours.
Transit hours. That's good. Thank you, Oscar. Maintain and enhance. Yes.
Better town transportation options. More
Okay.
options and just within the town.
Right, so, yeah.
More transportation options.
How about out of town too?
I didn't,
I know.
In and out of town. Okay. Yes.
clothing stores for men, women, and children.
Wonderful. Bring the clothing stores back. Yes. Maintain
Performing arts.
performing arts.
With kind of flexible space, so we can do movies and we can also do community theater, yeah. Space, yeah.
Community theater. Love it.
A bookstore.
Oh. Bookstore.
Gonna get one. Gonna get an expand, yeah.
So maintain and enhance is the question. So maintaining the hardware store locally. Got it. Okay. Festivals. Yes, Magda.
I think we're missing activities for the teens, so middle school, nothing.
Okay. Tween activities.
And other things that you can meet up.
Awesome. Coffee shops. Meetup spaces. I keep hearing about French press. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm working on it. Busking. Okay, busking. I don't know what that is. Could you tell by my face? I don't know.
Musicians.
Oh,
Musicians playing on the.
Buskers. Yeah, they're buskers.
You're spelling it right. You-
am I? You know I was going to ask. Who? Thank you. Busking. Busking. Okay.
Moratorium on banks.
A moratorium. Okay, here we go. On banks. Maintain and enhance. What if this was your final moment to say what it is you would, and it would actually happen? No, just kidding. I don't want to give that pressure. Did you have something?
Yeah, a variety of restaurants. We have
Ah.
great restaurants in Washington.
Awesome. I saw a hand, I think. Ooh, love it. Community garden. Compost.
Intergenerational spaces.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, I see a pause. Is there any burning thing that someone wants to say before I? There'll still be time, but should I go to the next one? Feels like a good list.
Yeah.
Okay, we can come back to it. If folks later want to go up and write things, because we're going to do something with all the words. All right, so the last one. What haven't we said yet? What haven't we mentioned that you want to include in what will be our community story? What haven't we talked about? Housing. Okay, housing. A real emphasis on housing.
Representation.
Representation.
We want to be
I might have missed something else you said after.
just everyone feels represented. Anyone and everyone feels welcome.
Other things.
Housing
young adults who are aged out of the school system with whatever disability. Yeah. Senior living, co-housing.
Okay.
And also opportunities for bringing the older seniors together with the younger kids.
Intergenerational,
Yeah.
talk about that, but as a housing,
Housing
housing,
or
but it's more than that. It's,
proximity of schools
Well, there's
with housing.
right, there's the kindergarten, or there's the preschool program that's senior living center, just.
Yes,
More interaction with wild spaces, like the
wild spaces.
and
Mm-hmm.
teach us all.
More interaction in wild spaces. Like it. I saw your hand, yes.
Respect and support for the people who work at local businesses who don't live in town.
I love it. Respect and support. Businesses specifically that don't live in the town. That's very specific, and I like it. Yes.
More multifamily condominiums.
Yes.
We need condominiums.
More multifamily.
I could speak about it.
I could tell, and I want to hear it. Condos. Exclamation point. I saw and I thought, oh no, it was here. It was here.
It's a little bit related to his point, but just Needham being a great place to work, is good.
Yeah, that's good. A great place to work. Just live. And can I add something, JB? And visit, and visit, and visit, and visit. So far, so good. I like visiting here. Yes.
Support for the full completion of the Needham Housing Authority goals for expanding more housing, building more housing, and like to do more integration of the Needham Housing Authority properties just with the neighborhoods. They feel so
And
apart.
integration of the residents with that housing, with the rest of the community.
Right.
Not just, yeah.
Yeah, just less compartmentalized. Like, I mean, that's why Linda Chambers is interesting, because it's more connected to a neighborhood.
Everyone feels valued and empowered.
Everyone feels valued and
Empowered.
you guys like this prompt. This is good.
Everyone feels like they belong.
I think I'd like to see fewer empty spaces, whether they're vacant businesses or vacant buildings that are waiting to be turned into assisted living, but just sitting there.
That's great. You're not talking about anything specific, could you be? That's good. That's good.
I would say we're
Good.
I think we got it. This is a starting point, and so we'll hopefully be doing something with this as we talk about what the community story is, that we'll come back to you and hopefully do some good community engagement work around. So thank you for this. And now is your time. Now that your juices are flowing, Oscar has described the various tables for the breakout sessions. And do we want to just have folks?
Yeah, I think, I don't think we have to be as
Formal,
kindergarten
right?
as everybody go
No.
1, 2, 3, and then everybody goes to 1, 2, or 3. But we could, I think if people have an interest in one of these groups, let's go there. I just would like to see that we have
Dispersed.
distribution around, and we're
Yes.
going to then have reporting back from each group so that you'll hear what every group talked about? Yeah.
Kathy?
Give a little bit more
Sure.
explanation of what you're talking.
Sure.
Please.
A little more detail? More detail, okay. Jan? Do you want to talk a little bit about what you want to talk about?
All right, well, we're campaigns over here, we're about advocacy, so we do a whole lot of stuff already about advocacy. So we're going to talk about advocacy, and I don't want to say everything that we're going to discuss here, but I'll go over what we already do and what we're planning to do. We also have an interactive session with Julia, who, I don't know, but she'll be back in a minute.
She'll be right back, yeah.
About text banking, and then Magda is going to talk about outreach and getting the community groups involved with what we're doing.
And I will talk a little bit about the MBTA plans, and Margaret Murphy and I are over here. We're going to have, we have some handouts of the, a snippet of the Hone materials that have the two maps and have the charts with all the development thresholds, so we could get into some of the detailed discussion of those plans. And then Jeff and Caitlin are, we know that, 6 foot distance. So these two would like to talk about the interesting things with development and how they are particularly relevant to what we want to do in Needham. So 3 diverse topics, and we're gonna, people want to jump and move to tables, that would be great. And then we have, these are all basically, you can sit around these tables, we can have discussion groups at the table. So if we need a few more chairs, we can drag them over.
So campaign, we'll start by talking about what we've been doing and what we're doing. So the idea is so the petition is meant to
Great, thanks. We'll talk.
we're making a petition that we've got a lot of people backing us. Better every 2 years, which means people didn't feel empowered to reach out. And so town meeting members didn't necessarily know this was your first time she met her town meeting this year, and first we're on there, and a lot of people answer, and constituents were like, if you should be bothered to answer this, I'm not gonna, so it have to do it, yeah. And
There's 300 characters.
characters, right? Is it?
We're gonna do a report back. It's now 8:15. I don't want you guys, we're gonna hold you guys all too much. So we're gonna try and go with a few minutes on each table. And Matt is going to take care of the campaign outreach group to start with, and then we can go over to MBTA, and then we'll end with the long involved conversation with development. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. So what we were mostly talking about is a few different advocacy strategies. So we have mainly advocacy through legislation. This is reaching out to town meeting members, because they, on the League of Women Voters website, they all have their major plans and what they're running for that you can look at and find out who you want to vote for. We're talking about potentially having districts come closer by having more informal meetings set up with town meeting members and having new emails made so that voters could better interact with town meeting members. We have next week, May 29th, an abundant housing lobbying day that starts at 10 a.m. That's going to just be covering the whole thing. It's going to be at the State House, and it's going to be a big thing about housing. So if you're interested in that, you should definitely reach out to Julia for more information. And then we also had more advocacy strategies like reaching out through text message chains and just kind of being able to reach out to all the voters in our district about joining our newsletter. And then we also have reaching out to local groups in our community of Needham. Some of them were Needham Heights Alliance, Business Association, Green Needham, PTCs, groups at the high school, everything like that, just better spread the message and educate throughout Needham. Something that Jan said that I really think encompasses this whole thing is acceptance through understanding. And we just want to help educate everybody we can in Needham to help spread this issue. And yeah.
You should run for office.
Oh, wow, okay. That's tough to follow. So we.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Rena. Oh my God. Okay. Well, okay. Matt is doing a civics project, so I just wanted to help him. That's why I was recording. There's really no need. Thank you. So we were talking about the MBTA plans. So these are what the state has mandated regarding zoning near transit. So we found there's this Boston Globe article that was published a few days ago, actually. And we've also just seen in a few towns, like, what was it, Milton and Wellesley, I believe, that what's happening is that towns are doing this base compliance model, and it's different for every town, but a lot of towns are creating plans for housing in which they're creating zoning on top of multifamily housing and condos that already exist, which makes it really, really, really difficult for developers to do anything at all. So they're making this theoretical zoning, and most of it is just really, really improbable. So a lot of it we're seeing is just not going to happen. And I think there's a very small, what was the percentage of housing that we're seeing is going to be built? Like 10%? 10% of what we expected, which is really, really unfortunate. So we discussed that and why we want Needham to not use this base compliance model and instead do, what was it called, the neighborhood?
Housing plan.
The neighborhood housing plan, sorry. Yeah, so what did we discuss?
I think you had a compelling point around why don't we just eliminate it now and later?
Sure.
Yes.
I'll talk about that. So, sorry, we talked about the argument that we should just do the bare minimum now and handle the housing issues that we're facing later on when we have more time or more money or whatever people are saying. And so the argument we discussed against that is just that it's really, we don't have much time to waste. I talked about the civil rights movement. I am learning about like race-related protests in the 60s and how everyone was told that they should just wait and legislation would be passed later on and that protests shouldn't occur and that they shouldn't be fighting things because it would be handled eventually. And the response to that was just that they had waited too long. And this is definitely somewhat different from the civil rights movement. But I think a similar thing can be said just because we have waited for a long time, and people say that we will handle it later, but it's become pretty clear that they're really just putting it off because they don't want to handle it now. So this neighborhood housing plan would allow us to make some concrete action by forcing towns and forcing Needham to add more zoning than just the bare minimum, which would necessitate that we actually create enough housing. Yeah, we talked about, thanks. We talked about elderly living and the need for this middle ground where we could have walkable housing and places for people above the age of 55, not senior living necessarily, but a different type of somewhat senior living where it could be age restricted or just condos, multifamily housing that is more affordable because we really, really need that middle ground. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's all. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Kathy Mertz. I'm part of the coalition. Oscar and I are married. So we had a really good talk about, basically it was about the barriers to development under any plan whatsoever. And that there's so many stars that need to align for any development to happen. We talked about the cost of construction, first of all, the cost of land, cost and availability of land, and in the terms of the not-for-profit development, the financing in particular, right? The places from which you get funds. And that's true for profit as well. So if we were to do the base compliance plan, as Rena said, nothing basically would be done. If we do the slightly more generous plan, we will get some done, but it will be at a glacial pace no matter what. I was sort of joking that whatever projects under either plan that might be started now, I will probably be 75, maybe close to 80 by the time we see any of the changes that we're talking about. I'm not very good at the reporting out thing. That's basically we talked about how hard it is to get land developed and the reasons that it is hard to develop. Even taking away some of the barriers and allowing multifamily zoning by right does not remove the barriers. It just makes a more streamlined process that makes projects a little more attractive and feasible for developers. Also, we talked about people's concerns about parking and traffic, and Jeff pointed out that that the parking situations and the kind of housing we're talking about, primarily studio, one-bedroom, two-bedroom apartments and condos. The people who have lots of cars and need parking are not going to be buying those places. Self-selecting, I think, is the word you used. And one of the things that can make a project not feasible is if parking is required and they have to dig below to do underground parking. It doesn't make sense for the developer to do that. So what other things? Do you want to fill in? Did I cover it?
You get an A+. No. From my perspective, I think one of the challenges are, being a resident of Needham and having lived in this area long enough, is the people that are skeptical about the rezone and the MBTA opportunity think Needham is going to become Cambridge, or Needham is going to become Assembly Square, or Needham's going to become Boston. Under any scenario, that's not going to happen. And I think it's important for the advocacy and for the group collectively to communicate, and I can help with this as the messaging occurs, is just the development, whatever development happens is going to happen slowly. That's just the nature of development. But that it's a real opportunity to be forward-thinking and provide a lot of different, not just housing, but really economic development for Needham, which can be attractive to those that are more fiscally conscious in the town and may not really care about housing, but they care about taxes and tax revenue. And wow, if we get behind this, my taxes aren't going to go up. Maybe they're going to go down because look at all this tax revenue that's being created. So it's important. People that moved to Needham moved here for a reason. And all of the reasons that they came here, in my opinion, are still going to be very, very prevalent. The big difference is going to be, I think it's going to be even a cooler place to live because you're going to have more diversity, you're going to have more retail, you're going to have more commercial, you're going to have more really vibrancy. And, you know, there's some people that don't like people, but most people, I think, enjoy community. And the lists we put together, you know, I didn't see anyone say, well, we need more isolation or we need more, you know, alone time. It's all things that require people to get out and be together and do things together and interact and socialize. And by doing more development, you're inherently creating more opportunities and you're bringing people into an area. I think for the advocacy people, reach out to the retail and commercial that's already there. They benefit by more people coming into the downtown areas and say, hey, we need, pass the hat. We're doing some studies to help the advocacy. Will you throw in, $1,000, $5,000, whatever it is? This is going to help you. You're going to, hey, restaurant, we're going to have 300 units within, a mile of you. All those people are going to want to eat here. That kind of stuff. It's going to take a village, as they say, to kind of get the people that are a little bit on the fence about this whole thing. So I can't help myself. I talk too much.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Rena. Thank you, Matt. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We have a few more things to wrap up. And Kathy, thank you. Yeah. I think I'm driving by myself tomorrow. Okay. Julia, do you want to actually say a few things about Lobby Day?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Julia. I'm a regional organizer for Abundant Housing Massachusetts, and we are having a lobby day next Wednesday, May 29th. It will start with a rally at 10 a.m. at the State House, and we'll have Lieutenant Governor Driscoll there. We'll have Secretary Ed Augustus speaking, and a bunch of really cool advocates also. So that will be great. And then after that, there is an opportunity to actually go into the State House, find your legislator, and talk to them about the pro-housing movement, pro-housing legislation. We're specifically going to talk a little bit about ADUs, accessory dwelling units, because there is a part of the Affordable Homes Act, the housing bond bill, that would allow for ADUs statewide, and some legislators might not be as excited about ADUs statewide as we are. So we want to get them all very excited, because this is, it's a small but important way to help reduce the housing supply crisis. So yeah, I'm Julia. Come see me if you have any questions about Lobby Day, and I hope to see some of you there. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Julia. So a few other things I wanted to note. We have as you'll see on the agenda, we put together this Confronting the History of Housing Discrimination sessions that we do every other month in partnership with the Jewish Alliance for Law and Social Action. And that next session will be on May the 28th, on next week. So you're welcome to join that. But what I will say is that one of the things that we have worked with Bob Van Meter, who's the facilitator of that session, to do is to come to Needham in person to do that same sort of session. So you're welcome to join and register for next week. But we're also talking about bringing it here and for him to have really a more targeted sort of race and place conversation as part of that session that he puts together, Confronting the History of Housing Discrimination. It's sort of based off of the book that some of us may have read from Richard Rothstein, The Color of Law. So it's sort of based off of that, a curriculum and presentation that he has presented. So join us for that. Some of you all may have seen some of the postcards that were on the table. If you have, this letter is to your senator. It's to write in support of both the real estate transfer fee bill and also the MBTA Community Act. There has been some measures to sort of amend MBTA community zoning law, and so you can kind of read through it, and if you support and agree and would like to, you can fill it out with just your name and address, and you can leave it on the table. We'll be dropping them off to your senator on next week. So if you would like to fill that out, please do so. And then I think that is it. What I will say, which is not here, we're having an affordable homes campaign on tomorrow. So it'll be on Zoom. I can share information for that as well. If you go to our website, chapa.org, we are launching our affordable homes campaign, and the Lieutenant Governor will be joining as our featured speaker for that for tomorrow. Happy to talk more about that later, because I know we're after time. So Just want to thank everyone for joining. If you learned anything today, were challenged about anything today, raise your hand. Were enthused by something, have homework to read different articles. Yes, I think that includes most or all of us. And so we hope to do more sessions, right? Oscar, we were just talking about doing more sessions like this.
I'll take a poll. How many people would like to do something like this on ADUs? Okay, good. The reason for that is that a friend in town has really interested in trying to get the focus back on the ADU opportunities, because it has been passed in town meeting to make them available to rent. So the restrictions have been removed, but a lot of people have not really thought about it or even know about it. So we wanted to have a campaign to actually put this back on everybody's front burner as an option for people to think about. So it was her idea to start something, get a website, have access to some ADU plans so people can learn about it. She'd actually really like to have architects and planners and builders available to answer questions. So we're trying to just put all that together and create a whole sort of ADU point of reference for people. And so the thought would be to have another kind of conversation about that and get people excited about it again, and get people understanding the opportunity. So stay tuned for one more of these. Thank you. And thanks for coming, for everyone, and to all the younger people here who are maybe doing some work to wrap up school. If you haven't done it already, good luck in your final week.